So like I mentioned, today I want to start with a seated breathing practice. And in particular, I'm going to bring our attention to the exhales and a very specific part of the exhales. And we'll continue to look at that pattern within the asana practice and how bringing awareness to that part of the breath could actually help us with asana and facilitate asana and even facilitate that integration of strength in the practice. So, find a comfortable seat. You can elevate the hips onto a cushion or a pillow just underneath the sit bones. That could be helpful in finding a straight spine and finding that tilt in the pelvis so that the pelvis is neutral and the sit bones are plugging directly into the earth. So the sit bones aren't kind of rolling forward and they're not rolling back. They're straight down into the earth, which requires a neutral pelvis. And you can rest the hands just somewhere on the thighs. And the eyes could either be completely closed or you can have the eyes half open with a downcast drishti, so gazing somewhere on the floor, a little bit in front of you. And just settle into the breath, into the natural breath. Just allowing that process of shifting the attention from having the attention outwards before this moment where you're setting up for the class, you're engaging with the external world, shifting into this starting point of the practice where we change our perspective, we change our attention to be internal. To drop into the space of the body. And just notice what that feels like, what that shift feels like. Feeling the sit bones making contact with the earth. So you feel that heaviness through the sit bones as if they were plugging down into the earth. Giving you a sense of stability, a feeling of stability from the inside. As the legs, the thighs, the hips sink down into the earth. And from that feeling of stability, feel the spine lifting and rising, sitting up tall, so that the rib cage is floating above the pelvis and the skull is floating above the rib cage. So as the crown of the head reaches up, as the back of the neck lengthens, the sit bones and the pelvis continue to drop down. Notice the breath moving in and out through the nostrils. And we'll gently work our way towards an ujjayi breath. So a gentle tone in the vocal cords, making the actions in the throat as if you are whispering, except the mouth is closed, and you're breathing in and out through the nose. And that tone in the vocal cords might also bring a sound to the breath, a sound that stays consistent through the inhale and the exhale. If you notice that the sound gets louder or maybe a little bit more intense on the exhale compared to the inhale, then that might mean that you're engaging the throat too much and you need to release the soft palate. Working towards a breath that's even, matching the length of the inhales to the length of the exhales. And so if it helps for you to count, whatever length of breath works for you right now, you can count, for example, up to 4 as you inhale and up to 4 as you exhale. If that helps to just focus the attention on the breath. If it doesn't, let it go. You don't need to count. I'm going to ask you to bring the attention into the pelvis. Feeling into the space of the pelvis, the bowl of the pelvis. So that as you inhale, you feel the pelvis grounding into the earth. You feel the sit bones grounding into the earth, plugging in. And you feel the tailbone slightly dropping and getting heavy as you inhale. And as you exhale, keep the attention in the pelvis and just notice. Keep the attention in the pelvis as you continue inhaling and exhaling. As you inhale, emphasizing the grounding gestures of pressing the sit bones, of dropping the tailbone. And as you exhale, just keep the attention there. Observe the space of the pelvis as you exhale. And as you continue breathing and as you continue focusing and bringing the mind to the space of the pelvis, begin to notice the space between the inhales and the exhales. So really noticing that space between the inhales and particularly between at the bottom of the exhale. So we're keeping the attention in the pelvis and noticing the space between the exhale and the inhale. So noticing the bottom of the exhale when you're completely empty of breath. Notice that natural pause without holding or straining the breath at the bottom of the exhale, just allowing that natural pause to be there so that the inhale naturally begins at the bottom of the exhale when you're empty of breath. What I want to start bringing our awareness to is in that emptiness at the bottom of the exhale, there's a natural toning of the pelvic floor. So notice that natural inclination for the pelvic floor to tone at the bottom of the exhale and maybe emphasize it a little bit more. So at the bottom of your next exhales, you're going at your own pace. Notice the natural toning of the pelvic floor and then emphasize it a little bit as you begin the inhale to really engage the pelvic floor and lift the belly out of the pelvis. Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. And we're just going to bring our awareness to the natural unfolding of Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha at the bottom of the exhale when we're empty of breath. And what could be helpful in helping us wake that up naturally is when you get to the bottom of the exhale, when you think you're empty of breath, exhale a little bit more. Like you give one extra exhale, puff out through the nostrils, and that extra exhale to really empty out, that might help to sort of naturally wake up the pelvic floor so that when it naturally wakes up, you can continue to emphasize it through the inhale and keep it engaged through the inhale all the way through the top of the inhale. So that when you get back down to the bottom of the next exhale, you again exhale a second time. Find the natural toning and then bring it in even more with technique of Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. So just take a few more breaths here. Exhaling, 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 and then exhale one more time to the Mula Bandha point to support the inhale. So just really bringing the attention to that space between the exhale and the inhale, and noticing that space being a natural awakening of Mula Bandha. Couple more breaths. Really emphasizing the bottom of the exhale, breathing out, and maybe breathe out one more time before moving into the inhale. Good. Finishing one last round of the breath. Without straining the throat, releasing the soft palate. And if the eyes are closed, you can gently open the eyes. And release the technique for now. So we're going to pick it up in a moment. So start to move the body gently, and we'll meet standing on the mat for our asana practice. Good. So come to Samasthitihi. With the big toes together and the heels slightly apart, or you can have the feet a little bit wider if that helps to create stability, keeping the attention drawn in from our breathing practice. And we'll bring the palms to heart center to start with the opening mantra. Inhale through the nose. Vande Gurunam Charanaravinday Sandarshita Swatma Sukhavabode Nishreyase Jangali Kayamane Samsara Hala Hala Mohashantiye Abahu Purushakaram Shankachakrasidharinam Sahasra Shirasam Shwetam Pranamami Patanjalim. Exhale, bring the arms down to your side, and we'll start with Surya Namaskara. Inhale, bring the arms over your head, palms touch. Exhale, up and over with a long spine, hands to the mat to fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or jump back into a high plank. You can stay in the high plank or lower down. Inhale into upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale into downward facing dog. We'll be here for about 5 breaths. Just settling into this first downward facing dog, feeling into the body.
Reestablishing that breath from our seated breathing practice. Toning the vocal cords and matching the length of the inhales to the length of the exhales. One more breath here. And as you're exhaling, lift the heels, bend the knees, drop the tailbone, gaze forward. Step or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale into half lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come to stand. Press through the feet, reach through the arms, through the pinkies. Exhale, float the arms back down into Samastitihi. Inhale, arms over your head. Shift back into the heels. Exhale, up and over, folding as you draw the lower belly and fully exhale. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or jump back, lowering down, maybe lowering the knees as well. Inhale, point the toes, lift the heart. Micro bend the elbows. Exhale, downward facing dog. Settling into the breath, settling the attention on the breath as it rises and falls. Noticing the bottom of the exhale, the space between the exhale and the inhale. One more breath. As you exhale, bend the knees, drop the tailbone, gaze forward. Empty of breath, make your way to the top of the mat. As the feet land, start the inhale into half lift. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, come to stand, pressing down, reaching up. Exhale, float the arms into Samastitihi. Inhale, arms over your head. Exhale, fold, fully exhaling. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or jump back, lowering down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Spread the fingers wide and press through the hands to help you wrap the shoulder blades. So as you press the hands down, you feel the armpits move away from the floor as you spread the upper back. So you're engaging the side of the body here. You're engaging the side of the rib cage to wrap the shoulder blades with the help of the serratus anterior muscles so that the back spreads, the front opens, and there's a sense of integration there. So as you press the hands and wrap the shoulder blades, keep pressing the hands down and forward to reach the sit bones up and back. It's an active dog. On your next exhale, prepare to jump or walk forward, empty of breath. Make your way to the top, the feet land. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come to stand, pressing down. And again, feel that wrapping as you reach the pinkies. Exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, wrap the shoulder blades, spread the upper back as you reach up. Exhale, up and over to fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or jump back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Again, if you need to come into a half dog where the knees are on the floor, to feel that pattern through the shoulders and the hands, do that. Because then you have less weight and you can focus more on the technique rather than the weight-bearing aspect. So spread the fingers, press the hands down to wrap the shoulder blades like you're pulling the outer edge of the shoulder towards the floor. The armpits lift from the floor a little bit, so you feel that rounding of the upper back, the spreading of the upper back, but not so much where you're dropping the tailbone and you're rounding the spine. You do that as you reach the sit bones up and back by pressing the hands and pressing yourself out of the shoulders to elevate the shoulders. Let's take one more breath here. If you're in the half dog, come up to the full dog. And as you exhale, bend the knees, drop the tailbone, gaze forward, empty of breath, make your way to the top. And as the feet land, begin the inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come to stand, pressing down, reaching up. Exhale into Samastitihi. We're going to do Surya Namaskar beat, but stay with me because I'm going to specify the breathing here. And it might be different from what you normally do. Inhale, take a deep breath in. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, up and over to fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or jump back. Chaturanga Dandasana. You can always lower the knees. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Turn the left foot, right foot forward. Finish the exhale here. Inhale, come up. Virabhadrasana. Exhale, bring the hands down, step back and lower. Finish the exhale there. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, long exhale, downward facing dog. Turn the right foot, left foot forward. Exhale here. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, step back, bend the elbows, finish the exhale here. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog for about 5 breaths. You could always take a half dog or child's pose. And if it helps, you're in a half dog, you can come onto your fingertips. And that might help to find that pattern of wrapping, of lifting the armpits away from the floor. Keeping the neck relaxed. And of lifting the sit bones up and back. So it's a balanced happy dog. Releasing any tension in the throat. We'll take one more breath here. As you exhale, prepare. Empty of breath. Top of the mat. Feet land as you inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees. Reach the arms up. Exhale. Samastitihi. We'll do one. Paying careful attention to the bottom of the exhale. Inhale, deep breath in. Exhale, fully exhale, empty of breath. Begin to come into Utkatasana and then inhale the rest of the way. Exhale, up and over as you fold. Fully exhale. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or jump back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Turn the left foot, right foot forward. Exhale. Inhale, come up. Exhale, make your way back down. Exhale, bottom of the plank. Inhale. And exhale, downward facing dog. Right foot turns, left foot forward. Finish the exhale. Inhale, Virabhadrasana. Exhale, step back, finish the exhale, the bottom of the plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Settle, keep the attention on the breath. Notice the natural toning of the pelvic floor at the bottom of the exhale. In that space between the breaths. A lot of yoga is just noticing what's already naturally happening all the time. We're just distracted. Take one more breath. Exhale, prepare, empty your breath. Come to the top, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees.
Reach the arms up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Bring the feet hip width distance apart. Inhale, hands to your hips. Lift the heart up. Exhale, folds forward, catch the big toes. Padangusthasana. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Gently pulling on the toes to reach the crown of the head towards the floor. And you can either have the elbows pointing directly away from each other, directly to the side, or draw the elbows in towards the shins. Whatever you do, feel the shoulders move away from the ears. So again, you're engaging the side of the body, and you're lengthening the front of the body and the back of the body. Instead of focusing on just lengthening the back of the body, also lengthen the front of the body and use the position of the elbows and the shoulders to help you do that. As you lengthen the back of the body, you're also reaching the heart towards the toes. So we'll take one more breath here. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Empty of breath. Start to come up into half lift. Inhale. Exhale, 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 exhale. Hands to your hips. Inhale. Rising up into Samasthiti. Okay. Stay with me. Utthita Trikonasana. Inhale. Step the right foot back. Arms to the side. Exhale. Pivot the right toes. Reach through the right arm as you bring the hand to the shin, to a block, or to catch the big toe. Inhale as you gaze up towards those left fingers, or you can also gaze to the side. Allowing the pelvis to be wherever it needs to be, so not locking the pelvis in a particular position, allowing the left side of the pelvis to roll forward or back as it needs to. Smooth out the edges of the breath. Steady breathing. Good. We're going to take one more breath. Exhale, completely emptying. Tone the pelvic floor to start to come up. Inhale the rest of the way. Pivot the feet. Exhale, move into the left side. Inhale, gaze up towards the right fingers. Come into the breath. Smooth out the edges of the breath. And as you're breathing here, notice the toning of the pelvic floor at the bottom of the exhale, and try to really emphasize that toning to turn on Mula Bandha as you inhale. We're going to take one more breath. As you exhale, completely exhale, and at the bottom of your next exhale, tone the pelvic floor, start to come up, empty of breath. Inhale the rest of the way up. Good. Pivot around, face the back of the mat, reach the left arm up. Exhale, reach the left arm forward and towards the floor. Inhale, move into the twist as you reach the right arm up. So you can take any variations here, hand on the block. Hand on the inside of the foot. Find the legs pressing into the earth. And a smooth, steady breath. Begin to notice the bottom of the exhales, the toning of the pelvic floor. And let's take one more breath. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, fully empty, tone the pelvic floor. Start to come up. Inhale the rest of the way. Good. So hopefully you're noticing a pattern. Reach the right arm up and forward as you exhale. Inhale as you twist and reach the left arm up. Notice if you're engaging the throat or the soft palate. Just a gentle tone in the vocal cords. Begin to notice the bottom of the exhales, and we'll take one more breath. Exhale, 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 completely exhaling, tone the pelvic floor, come up, empty of breath, inhale, open to the side, exhale into Samasthiti. Prasarita Padottanasana, inhale, step the right foot back, hands to your hips, exhale, fold forward, bring the hands to the floor, inhale, lengthen the spine, exhale, fold. So we're bringing our attention to that bottom of the exhale so that we can really learn to integrate that strength in our foundation. So that when we do a big movement, like coming out of a pose or moving into a strength posture, we're strong and we have a strong foundation and the body is integrated, the pelvic floor is turned on so that we're supported as we move out of a posture and as we move into a more strength, a posture that requires more strength. So let's take one more breath here. Fully exhale. Exhale, 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 exhale. Tone the pelvic floor. Start to move out, empty of breath. Inhale into half lift. Exhale, hands to your hips. Inhale, come up and out. Exhale at the top. We'll take one more here. Inhale, reach the arms to the side. Exhale, interlace the fingers behind the back. Inhale. And exhale, folds forward. With a little bit of tension, allow the hands to move away from the body and towards the floor. Keep the legs strong. I like to micro bend the elbows here because I feel that engages the front of the legs, but also the back of the legs. Settle into the breath. One more here. At the bottom of the exhale, tone the pelvic floor. Start to come out empty of breath and then inhale. Release the hands, exhale into Samasthiti. Inhale, arms over your head, palms touch. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or jump back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward, jump the feet, bend the knees and reach the arms up. 5 breaths in Utkatasana. You can have the palms together or the palms apart. Either way, as you sink the hips down, you feel again that wrapping of the shoulder blades towards the front of the body. So you feel the elbows coming towards each other, the palms facing each other or touching, and reach to the pinkies. Relax the neck. One more breath here. As you exhale, keep the knees bent. Bring the hands to the floor and do that same wrapping pattern. But now this time, we're going to have the floor as something to press against to help us to really emphasize the wrapping of the shoulder blades, the protraction of the shoulder blades. So as you push the mat, feel the spine lifting between the shoulder blades. So you're really spreading the upper back. For 3, draw the knees towards the chest and drop the tailbone. 2, shift forward. And 1, shift back to the feet for a breath. Good. Exhale, step back into a high plank. And let's hold the high plank here for a moment. Spread the fingers wide. Press through the inner edges of the hands as you squeeze the armpits, feel the armpits squeezing. In other words, feel the shoulders moving away from the ears. Inhale, deep breath in. Exhale, lower down through Chaturanga Dandasana. You can lower the knees. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, jump through to seated. Let's come into Dandasana. Legs straight out in front of you, hands next to your hips. Legs are awake. The pelvis is neutral. So just like in the seated position, if you feel the pelvis tucking under, the sit bones rolling forward, elevating the hips can help you to give the pelvis a little bit of that rotation so that it's neutral, so that the sit bones are plugging into the earth. Settle into the breath for just a couple more breaths. Again, bringing the attention to the bottom of the exhales. And notice the natural toning of the pelvic floor so that you can emphasize that a little bit. As you inhale, feels like you're lifting the lower belly out of the pelvis. Good. Finishing the next round of breath. Inhale, bring the arms over your head, wrap the shoulder blades, reach through the pinkies, press through the sit bones. Exhale, reach forward to catch the big toes, your fingertips on the floor. And again, inhale, lengthen the spine, lift the heart. Exhale, fold over the legs. And maybe you're holding onto the feet. You can either catch the big toes or you can catch the outsides of the feet. And again here, just like in Padangusthasana, choose where you're going to bring the elbows. Don't rest the elbows on the floor, but you can have them moving towards the floor. You can have them pointed to the side, reaching away from each other. Wherever you have the elbows, allow that position to help you move the shoulders down the back to engage the side of the body so that you're integrating the front of the body and the back of the body. So that as the back of the body lengthens, the heart is also reaching forward. Keeping the neck relaxed. One more breath here. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, release the feet. Bring the hands behind the hips for Purvottanasana. Keep the feet together. And before you come up, we're going to focus on the breathing pattern to bring us into this posture. So inhale, take a deep breath here. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Empty of breath. Start to reach the tailbone forward and the toes forward. Inhale, lift up the rest of the way up. Keep reaching the toes towards the floor. Keep pressing the hands down and back to lift the pelvis and lift the heart. Maybe you're dropping the head back. Stay with the breath. Good. One more here. And as you exhale, lower it down. Cross the shins, hands in front of the hips. Fully exhale, lift up, inhale, step the feet back, exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, you can jump through on the inhale or jump through on the exhale after an inhale. Just different vinyasas. It's more conventional to jump through on an inhale, but sometimes I like to inhale and then jump through on an exhale. So do both. It's a different experience. Let's do Janu Shirshasana A. Bend the right knee and let the knee fall out to the side. Inhale, square the shoulders over the left leg. Exhale, fold.
Settling into the breath. One more here. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release the foot. Plant the right foot for Marchasana A. Inhale, reach the right arm up. Exhale, reach it forward, either catching the left foot or wrapping around the shin. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, fold. And if you're doing the variation where the right hand catches the left foot, you could also catch the ankle. One more breath. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release. Cross the shins and hold it here before you take the vinyasa, hands in front of the hips. And think about squeezing the knees towards the body, squeezing the feet towards the body, and just hold it here for 5. Good. So you're just squeezing in towards the body. 3, 2, 1. Take another breath here. Inhale, deep breath in. Exhale, 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 exhale. Lift up, empty of breath. Inhale, swing the feet back and jump or step back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We'll build up on that in the next one. Jump through on an inhale or on the exhale. Bend the left knee. Inhale, bring the leg out to the side. And then an inhale again. Square the shoulders, lift the heart. Exhale, fold. Stay with the breath. One more. Inhale, look up. Exhale. Come out of that as you plant the left foot. Inhale, lift the left arm up. Exhale, reach forward to catch the right foot or wrap around the shin to take the bind. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, we're going to pause here before the vinyasa. So cross the shins again, squeeze the thighs towards the chest and the feet towards the glute. And now this time bring the arms in front of you so that as you squeeze the knees towards you, you push the hands away from you and wake up that pattern of protracting the shoulders, of pressing through the shoulders to spread the upper back. Good. Keep breathing here for 3. Keep squeezing the thighs and pushing the hands. 2. And 1. Release that. And now we're going to bring the feet underneath us. And we're going to do the same thing, same position, but just oriented differently. So the feet are underneath you. You can keep the feet crossed since that's the position that we do in the jump back. Or you can uncross the feet. Hands somewhere between the knees and the hips, halfway along the thighs. And again, press the hands down, lift the hips, squeeze the knees towards the body. Good. So as the knees lift, the hands push down actively. So feel the side of the body really engaging. Relax the neck and make sure the ears aren't creeping up towards the ears. Good. Maybe lift one foot up. Maybe lift the other foot up. Good. One more breath. Press through the hands. Lift through the knees. Exhale, step back or jump back into Chaturanga Dandasana.
Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, let's come to Baddha Konasana. Sorry, decide which one to do first. So bring the feet together. And bring the feet as close as you can towards the body. And we'll just take a couple breaths here with the spine straight, allowing the inner thighs to release. Inhale, deep breath in. Exhale, fold forward. With a long spine, only coming as far as it feels okay in the hip joints. As the thighs roll back, the heart reaches forward. Stay with the breath. Good. One more here. Inhale. Come up. Exhale. Drop the tailbone round the spine and bring the forehead towards the toes for Baddha Konasana B. And this is a great pose to again bring our attention to that Mula Bandha point at the bottom of the exhale and really wake up that natural lifting of the pelvic floor. Just because of the position we're in, it really facilitates that curling action, that engagement of Mula Bandha, and that sense of support from the inside. So keep exploring that pattern in this position, rounding the spine, dropping the tailbone. Breathing into the backside of the body and noticing the bottom of the exhale, completely empty of breath. Good, we'll take one more breath here. Inhale, unroll the spine to come up to a straight spine. Exhale there. Good. Cross the shins, hands in front of the hips. Good. Take another breath here. Inhale. Exhale, 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 exhale. Squeeze the knees, lift up. Inhale, swing the feet back. Exhale, jump back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, jump the feet to a squatting position. Now we're going to use this technique, again, of finding Mula Bandha point, the bottom of the exhale, and the technique of protracting the shoulders and using the side of the body to really find that sense of strength to move into Bakasana. So we're going to set the pose up. Before moving into the pose, we're just going to set it up. Bring the hands shoulder width apart. Open the knees. You can have the feet together. Eventually you want the feet together, but if it's helpful to separate the feet a little bit to go in, you can. And you're going to lift the hips, bend the knees or not. You could also do this with straight arms. And bring the outside of the knees to the upper arms above the elbow on the outsides of the arms so you can squeeze in a little bit. Before you lift the feet, start to shift the weight into the hands. Start to press through the hands to feel that spreading of the upper back. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Mula Bandha, empty of breath. Start to lift the feet. Inhale, lift the feet. Keep pressing the hands. So if you need to try again, you can. If not, keep holding Bakasana. Use that Mula Bandha point at the bottom of the exhale to help you come into the pose. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Mula Bandha, empty of breath. Start to lift the feet and then inhale the rest of the way up. Let's take a couple more breaths in Bakasana. Keep pressing through the hands, spreading the upper back. One more breath. Exhale, step back or jump back for vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale.
Downward facing dog. Inhale. Let's jump through to seated. And exhale. Let's lie down on our back. Yeah, because I just noticed the time. Sorry. Bend the knees. Time goes by fast when you're moving slow, which is kind of funny. Bend the knees and plant the feet alongside the outside edges of the hips. And just be here for a moment and consider that we've done a lot of folding forward gestures and movements with the body. So our back bends might feel a little bit tight, and that's okay. So we're going to inhale. Again, pay attention to the breathing pattern here. Inhale, deep breath in. Exhale as you reach the tailbone forward and the knees forward. Inhale, press through the feet and lift the pelvis. Good. You can shrug the shoulders down the back to interlace the fingers or catch the ankles. And as you keep pressing the feet, rolling the inner thighs down, narrowing the front of the pelvis, lifting the pelvis, and then pressing the back of the head on the mat. Deep breaths. Take one more breath here and start to spread the upper back. So roll the shoulder blades away from each other. So that as you exhale, you can roll down the spine from the top, one vertebrae at a time, slowly, slowly, so that the sacrum is the last to touch. And you have to roll the spine in order to do that. And as the sacrum touches, you can take a deep breath in. And as you exhale again, reach the tailbone forward and the knees forward. Inhale, lift the pelvis into Urdhva Dhanurasana or the bridge pose again. If you're in Urdhva Dhanurasana, you're bringing the hands next to the ears and coming all the way up. And again, just notice the shoulders might feel a little bit tight. And you're pressing the feet, pressing through the hands. Feel the pelvis lifting so that as the front of the pelvis narrows, the back of the pelvis spreads. Breathing deeply. Take one more breath here. And as you exhale, tuck the chin to roll down the spine again, one vertebrae at a time. Inhale once the sacrum lands. And we'll do one more back bend. Go at your own pace, move in when you're ready, and hold it for 5 breaths, and come out when you're ready. You're also free to stand up and do drop backs, or just do bridge pose again. Notice the breath. When you're done with your back bends, you can hug the knees and stay on your back with the knees hugging in, or you can rock up to seated for a forward fold. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and release the back bend. Few more breaths wherever you are, releasing the back bend. Fully exhaling.
Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, release the feet, cross the shins. Exhale, exhale, lift up, inhale for vinyasa. Step or jump back, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Come to the knees. We'll do one more closing posture, headstand. Bring the elbows to the floor. Interlace the fingers. And before you bring the head to the floor, press the elbows down and forward. And that's going to wake up the pattern we've been working on. It's going to wake up the sides of the body, the serratus anterior, to really stabilize the shoulders. So before the head comes down, press the elbows down and forward. Lift the knees, walk the feet in. The head is still not on the floor. Keep pressing through the elbows. Relax the neck. Looking back towards your toes, you could stay here. This could be your headstand. Or as you continue pressing the elbows, lower the head to the floor. And then to come up, fully exhale and start to lift the feet empty of breath. Inhale the rest of the way up. Maybe you're coming up with straight legs, or maybe you're coming up in a tuck. Or maybe you're lifting one leg and then using that bottom leg not to kick, not to push too much, but to use the body weight as leverage to get more body weight over the head so that you can find the center line and come up to the straight line. So you need to push the leg back if you're doing one leg. Finding your straight line, or maybe just keeping the feet on the floor. Again, finding the elbows pressing down. So that you're not back bending, but you're also not piking the legs and closing the front of the hips. Open the front of the body, open and lengthen the back of the body. Take a few more breaths here. If you want, you come to the halfway point. Keep pressing through the elbows. One more breath. Inhale, deep breath in. Exhale, slowly make your way to Balasana, child's pose. Bring the knees together, the forehead towards the floor, with the option to bring the arms alongside the body. Releasing the neck and shoulders. Inhale, make your way to take a vinyasa. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, jump through to seated. Let's find a comfortable seated position or full lotus if that's available to you. Wrap the arms around the back, taking the bind or grabbing onto opposite forearms. Inhale, deep breath in. Exhale, fold. Settle into the breath. Drawing inwards. Bringing the attention to the bottom of the breath, empty of breath. The natural pause. The natural and spontaneous lifting of Mula Bandha on its most subtle level.
staying open to the natural intelligence of the body. Took a couple more breaths here. On your next exhale, completely exhale, empty of breath. Come up, empty of breath. Inhale the rest of the way up. Release the hands. As you inhale, bring the wrist towards the knees, the pointer towards the thumb. To drishti down the line of the nose, finding a stable posture, but also a relaxed and open posture. Settle into the breath, coming back to where we started with the Ujjayi breaths, the tone in the vocal cords, matching the length of the inhales to the length of the exhales, allowing the breath to unfold, allowing Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha to naturally wake up, and then we use a technique to emphasize those movements, those patterns. Giving an extra push of the exhale, an extra exhale at the bottom to really empty of breath so that you can tune in to the natural engaging of the pelvic floor. So that as you inhale, you keep that on, you keep that turned on and lifted. So you're lifting the pelvic floor as you inhale and allowing the rib cage to expand, allowing the upper belly to expand. And if you have Mula Bandha, then you're really signaling the diaphragm to release. You're signaling the rib cage to really open and expand. But it needs that stable ground that you establish at the bottom of the exhale. Good, we'll take a couple more breaths here. No strain, no force. Finishing your last round. Finishing the exhale as you bring the hands to the floor. Exhale, 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 exhale. Initiate the lift up, empty of breath. Inhale, lift up. 1. For Uplutihi. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Exhale, come down. You can take a final vinyasa, or you can just go straight to Shavasana for our final resting pose. Lying on your backs and allowing the feet to roll open, the palms to face up, and the eyes to close. Completely relaxing. And surrendering to the support of the earth.
Feel free to stay here longer if you'd like. If you're ready to start moving out, start to deepen the breath. Moving your fingers and your toes. Reaching the arms over your head for a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bend the knees and plant the feet. Falling over to either side. When you're ready, slowly making your way back to a seated position. And we'll just take one final moment here together. Closing the eyes or having them half open. Settling in, feeling the residue. And being with the wet residue as it unfolds moment to moment, even beyond the end of this class. Keep being with and allowing the residue from practice to unfold. And bringing the palms to Anjali Mudra. Inhale. Swasti prajabhyaha paripalayantan nyayena margena mahim mahishaha go brahmanebhyaha shubhamastu nityam lokha samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here.